Hey, Cari, how are you?
Hey there. Happy Monday, everyone.
Yeah, happy Monday. We're really excited to be with you guys again. I believe, is this our first Monday in February? Maybe not. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Everything
I
just,
think it is. I think it is.
oh,
It's the
good. It's like
same.
after so many days, though, everything just kind of like runs together, especially when you're working from home. So,
I know, and it's already February, which is quite amazing if we think about it, because it feels like it was just the holidays and now it's February. So
I
hopefully
know.
your year is off to the right start. Welcome back to Level Up Mastery Monday with EXP. Just a reminder, we are live in the world every Monday morning. We're also live on EXP Realty on YouTube. Go ahead and make sure you subscribe and click the little bell button so that you're notified when we're live. Lots of great things that come to you throughout the week. But of course, we're impartial to Level Up on the Mastery Monday because we're here every Monday with you
Of
guys.
course. Yeah. So, this morning, you guys, we're going to be talking about a topic that you've probably heard of today, which is imposter syndrome, because we really wanted to dive in starting off this year talking about imposter syndrome when it comes to team leaders, recruiters, as you are stepping into your leadership skills and mastering your greatness, mastering what it's like to recruit and lead a team and be more organized and purposeful about your businesses this year, we know that imposter syndrome is going to come up a few times. If it's not already something that's actively in your life, these are things that are just going to come up for you because you're human. And guess what? You're completely normal. Imposter syndrome is a normal thing that can come up. So, Cari and I want to talk a little bit about what that looks like specifically for team leaders today. And then we're going to give you some strategies on how to kick imposter syndrome out, get out of your own head, and take control of your thoughts. So, Cari, can you tell us a little bit from your experience? How would you define imposter syndrome?
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because the phrase kind of just gives me a little bit of a weird feeling, to be honest with you. I don't love the words imposter syndrome. I think I don't like defining anything as like a syndrome or a disease. I'm kind of
Mhm.
interesting that way because I feel like it then is like it's something that you attach to yourself, right? It's something
Yeah,
you
it's like a
have.
label. It's like a
Yeah,
label
it's a
effect.
label, right. So, and the reason we wanted to use the words, however, are because that's what people will understand what we're talking about. So first and foremost, oftentimes I just realize that these are just thoughts and feelings that I have as a human being that are completely natural. That the ego part of the mind is going to always bring to the forefront to help us try to stay safe and comfortable and without pushing ourselves beyond our limits or out of our comfort zone. And so to me, it's just really just these feelings of self-doubt and personal incompetence that creep in, even though we know we've got the skills, the education, the experience, or the past accomplishments that point us in the direction that we have the ability to succeed. Our mind is still kind of playing tricks on us and telling us that we can't or why we can't. So, I mean, really, if you have what it takes to be successful in any an environment or endeavor, you still will have these thoughts in your mind or in your head that you're not deserving or capable of being there. And you just have to realize that that's just part of your life in terms
Mhm.
of growing a business. It's always going to happen. So if it's always going to happen, you have a choice either to move forward past it or to let it hold you back. And I think that's really what we want to talk about today.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, even as an admin, Carrie, so if you're an agent and you're listening to this and you have a team and you have leverage that you've hired on, listen, imposter syndrome is really the feeling of feeling inadequate. And it stems from this belief that you don't belong where you're at, that you might not have the right skill set, like Carrie said, or that, at least for me, how it was coming up, Carrie, just to get a little personal, is that I would always feel like I wasn't good enough. Not only did I didn't belong, but the feeling of that someone was going to find me out, like someone
Mm.
was going to discover my deep secrets of like that I'm not good enough, right?
Mhm.
And it caused so much anxiety, it caused so much unhappiness, and I was consistently fearful of
Mhm.
failing. And so what would happen is that I would all of the positive things that were happening in my life,
Right.
I would accredit all of the things that were happening that were positive to either luck or help from other people.
Mm.
So it was like this belief. We should have this belief that new skills and hard work and dedication, that's a growth mindset and that's normal and that's healthy, right? But for me, I was always feeling like I was an imposter and I could never take credit
Mm.
for my success. And so that's how I'm seeing it show up a lot of times with our agents here too, and some of our leaders, is that they're not, it just, the imposter syndrome is destroying the ability to take credit for the success that you have. And so what's happening is you're either overcompensating by showing up as a perfectionist. So you're
Mhm.
over preparing. And then when you are successful at, like, as an admin, you're successful at the project that you completed, or the task that you've been delegated, or as an agent and a team lead, you're over preparing for a a listing agreement, or you're meeting with your buyers, or you recruited somebody, right? You over prepared and you're successful. So then that just reiterates your perfectionism, right, Cari? It
Mhm.
really just um, it takes over this thought of like, okay, so over preparing is what helped me to be successful. And then if you're not successful and you over prepared, holy cow, you go into like this huge spiral, right, Cari? And it just makes imposter syndrome so much worse.
Yeah. I mean, it's the number one thing that will affect your confidence if you let it hold you back. If you let these feelings of inadequacy, or these feelings of inability to be successful, or that you're not deserving of something, the number one thing it does is it kind of rips you of your competence. It doesn't allow you to use the competence that you've developed,
Mhm.
and it just really affects your confidence. And that is a very big issue for leaders, because you're only going to be followed if you are confident. Someone's not going to follow you if you don't even believe in yourself. How do they believe in you? And
Mhm.
so when your confidence wavers, your influence wavers, your ability to help others and bring value wavers, and all of these things, start to become a challenge, even though you have what it takes. But because of the way that you are now, portraying your energy and yourself through this lack of confidence, and an inability to show your competence, you actually don't attract people, or people leave you, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because then you say, see, I don't have what it takes. But the reality
Mhm.
is, you do have what it takes. You were just displaying something that was pushing people away, and it's because of your belief system. So it becomes a very vicious cycle. And I've seen people really, really let this affect their recruiting, or their team building, or their retention. So whether they're a team owner, whether they are a leader of a group of agents, or even other employees, or if we're talking about other industries, or of course, in real estate, where we are, if we are looking to keep people in our world just as much as bring new people in, it can really affect them in a big way. And I think the biggest thing is that sometimes people don't listen to the thoughts in their head, Haley. So
Mhm.
they do have those thoughts, they get nervous, but they go for it anyway. And they go bring people into their world, and they do their best. And then they have a moment where somebody leaves them, or a group of people leaves them, because usually if one person leaves, there's usually a group, and you just have to deal
Mhm.
with it. And as a leader, that's what happens. Or people stop joining, it slows down. Then they start questioning their abilities. And if they don't have the ability to move past that quickly, it literally can destroy their whole business. And I've seen people who have literally been unable to go back out there and recruit or attract
Mhm.
talent, because they are so emotionally damaged by these people leaving them. And so it could be that you're starting with this feelings of inadequacy, or imposter syndrome as you begin. It's much easier to move past those if you've never started. If you have a poor experience, or something that really made you feel bad about yourself, that's when it becomes really hard to get over.
Yeah. So I did a little bit of research before we jumped on today, Carrie, because I found, I wanted to learn a little bit more about imposter syndrome, but I found this really interesting statistic that I wanted to share with everyone, which is 75 to 85% of Harvard Business School students experience imposter syndrome. Isn't that completely crazy? When I think about Harvard business students, I really think like these are the best of of the best. That these are the elite, students. So why in the world would they feel like an imposter? And I really thought that this was mind blowing, and also a bit comforting at the same time, because it means that if you're experiencing imposter syndrome, like I have, like you have, Cari, then you're not alone, right? Actually, we're in really great company because, like I said at the beginning, it's a human feeling. And like you've said, I think, Cari, you kind of dabbled in saying this, is that it really comes from the egoic state of mind. And let's dive in. We have 6 strategies for you today, actionable things that you could be doing to recognize the feeling or the thought that you're having, and then take action to step into your greatness, get it out of your mind, step forward, do the things that you need to do. Because, Cari, I feel like if people don't know you, you are very, very good at just doing the thing without even, like, you don't let any of the criticism, you don't let like what other people are going to think, like that shit doesn't even like cross your mind anymore. Cari, if, like I said, if you don't know her, you should get to know her if you're working through imposter syndrome, because she really does. She just shows up and she just does the thing. And it's like the most incredible thing I've ever seen, because you have said this to me so many times here. You're like, there's nothing to be worried about. Just go do it. Just don't even think about it. Don't even give it a second thought. Don't give it any of your energy. Just go do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really remarkable to see. So yeah.
It's a work in progress. I think you have to force yourself to get into that action. And so I'm reading a book right now, and he was talking about having that like really like deep embedded faith that if you have something that you want to do, that it's for a reason and you just need to figure out how to do it. And that if you have this burning desire and this deep embedded faith, that you just literally don't let anything else get in the way of doing. So you have to have the deep embedded faith, but then you have to get into the action. So I think a lot of us feel like we have that deep embedded faith. Like we really know we should do this and we want to, and we feel called to doing it. The part that we get a little lost in is actually getting into the action. So the only way that you get better at that is by doing it. And so, it's just over time, just constantly pushing yourself to do something when you don't feel comfortable doing it, or when you just know you should without overthinking it. It's just like anything. It's a habit you kind of form. Today, those thoughts don't even cross my mind anymore, because I've trained my brain so much that I just get into action without thinking about it. And what's really remarkable is the more action you get into, the more success, or at least positive experiences that come to you from that, which are going to automatically kind of discount those other thoughts that are going to come into your mind. So at the beginning, you're just thinking about those thoughts that, well, what are people going to think? And who am I to do this? And all of the other thoughts that your mind is going to tell you to stop you from doing it. But as you start to get into action, you're going to start getting positive feedback. And that positive feedback is very slowly but surely going to drown out a lot of those thoughts. So now today, I literally very, very rarely, it happens for a split second once in a while, but I very rarely even have those thoughts anymore, because instantaneously my brain is going to go into, the positive. Who's going to be helped by this? What possibly could happen from this in a good way? And then I get a piece of feedback, and then it just reassures. So it actually becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy in the other way.
Yeah. And well, let's start with the first action item to get past feeling like an imposter. So what's the very first thing that you'd recommend?
Yeah. So how are we going to turn this into a positive self-fulfilling prophecy? Number one, you have to acknowledge the feelings. So many times, and I know, Haley, you and I have talked about this together and with our clients, we almost don't want to admit to the imposter syndrome feelings, because then we also feel more inadequate. We're like, why do we keep thinking like this? Other people can just do it. And it becomes like another reason to put ourselves down. So we have to just be positively acknowledging the feelings. Like, they just are what they are. They're not good. They're not bad. They're just thoughts and feelings. Who cares? So when you acknowledge and create awareness about that, and you're open and actually not trying to, shove it under the rug, that's when you can actually bring it to the forefront of your mind. That's where you can actually deal with these subconscious thoughts through conscious logic. This is the whole idea that we talk about often in this call, which is moving from subconscious to conscious, which is not something we naturally do. We have to be purposeful about that. So then you're going to easily notice that at that time, by doing that, by moving into conscious logic, like a reality, that that the imposter syndrome doesn't make any sense, because you are capable of doing what you want to based on past successes or accomplishments, or even I mean, it comes into our mind sometimes in something we've already done and succeeded in, and we're still thinking we can't do it a second time, right? So really, the thing you have to remember is that these subconscious thoughts that you have, they seem like a whole lot of truth, and they seem to make sense when they're swirling around in your brain. The second you take them out of your mind and you move into conscious logic, you'll realize how ridiculous most of your thoughts actually sound. And that's a very empowering process.
Yes, yes. So number 2 is to build a support system to invalidate your fears. So if you are an admin, I would highly recommend that you find people who are very successful at what they're doing and build yourself up a team of support, whether it's group coaching setting, whether it's just a community of admin that you're with that will help to validate what you are doing and how you are communicating. You are what does Jim Rohn say? He says you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Same with team leaders. Same with if you're looking to really dive into revenue share and some recruiting this year. Start spending time with people who are very successful at that and who are going to empower you, not disempower you, which we'll talk about a little bit later in these steps. But build a support system of people who are going to elevate you, encourage you, inspire you, like Cari did with me when I first partnered with her. One thing that she would constantly do, and I just mentioned this, is that she would just tell me to do it. If I was afraid of anything, she said, then that's exactly what you need to lean into doing. If you're afraid of doing it, just let's do it. We're not even going to overthink it. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. You don't have to over prepare. We're just going to go out and we're going to just do this thing. And I was like, holy cow. And it actually worked. And as you build your competency, your confidence will come with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was a key that you said. We did a lot of those things together. Like some of the things I just told you, like, I know you can do this, just go do this and let me know when you do it. And that's, what, if you have a coach or someone, an accountability partner can do for you. But sometimes it's really helpful to do things together too. And I know that, Haley and I did things together, and in different parts of my career, I've done things with people, even though I was nervous to do it, but it helped push me out of my comfort zone. So part of that support system to invalidate your fears could be that you work with someone, another team leader, another agent, someone that you can go out there and do some webinars with or do something with where it brings you both opportunity, but it allows you to do it together, because sometimes that's what you need to just start getting into action. So I love that.
Yep. So number 3, Cari.
Yeah. So you have to, this goes back to first acknowledging your fears or feelings. And then number 2, challenging these beliefs. So it really, brings you to a place where you have to realize that the facts don't support your beliefs and feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to realize that you do have the experience to succeed. So one of the great things that you can do is just to, when you're feeling this way, write down the things that you've accomplished. Write down a resume of things. I have this, and this. I've sold this many houses. I've done this. I've mastered this skill. I have this great talent. You have to remind yourself of these things, because your mind doesn't automatically bring these things to the forefront. It's bringing all the things you can't do to your forefront of your mind. And that's because it's trying to keep you safe and not step out of your comfort zone. Remember, that's all the egoic part of the mind is really conditioned to do. So it's not a bad thing. It's there for a purpose, but you need to understand that purpose no longer really serves you. So you've got to move past it. So you have to make it a point to focus on your successes.
Mm-hmm.
That is very natural for most of us. And sometimes it's actually really uncomfortable for us, because we feel like, we're almost like bragging, or again, it's our go part of our minds. Like, why are you talking about what you've done? Look at all the things you haven't done, so there's all these limiting beliefs that come forth, but you've got to push past that. And you have to make it a point to focus on those. Think about your wins and actually let them resonate emotionally, because you're letting all these negative feelings about yourself resonate emotionally. So you need to overcompensate by allowing these wins and these successes. Read some of your testimonials. Remind yourself of somebody that you've helped. Show yourself how far you've come. Challenging how it's basically impossible to have all the things you do going for you and be an imposter at the same time. I
Yeah.
mean, what you're going to find out is it's not possible. If you actually take a little bit of time in your consciousness, in active decision making and thinking, not your subconscious, but your active thoughts, and being logical and realizing the reality, then you'll realize that imposter syndrome in this situation is just not possible for you.
Yeah, there's one more thing I wanted to say about this before we dive into the fourth action item, and that is Cari introduced me to Byron Katie a couple of years ago. And one activity that Byron Katie does to challenge your limiting beliefs is when you immediately have the thought of, I shouldn't be here, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not smart enough, or everyone else in this room is smarter than me. The first thing that you should ask yourself is it true?
Mm-hmm.
Is the thought true?
100%
And then
true.
yep.
Yeah.
Was it, and then you answer the question, is everyone else in the room smarter than me? And let's say that I said, yeah, everyone else is smarter than me. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that is true. Then you say, is it 100% true?
Yeah.
Is it really true? No, it's not really true. And so now you're challenging yourself so that you can immediately say, no, this is not true. I deserve to be here. If
Yeah.
I didn't deserve to be here, they wouldn't have asked me to be here.
And the
Right.
reality is, the reason why you can never answer the question, is it 100% true, is that you don't know.
Yeah.
It's impossible to be 100% sure about that. And then the second part of that, which I love that you brought this up, Haley, is it just as likely that the opposite of what I'm thinking is true? And the truth is yes, because we don't know. It could just be just as possible that not everyone is smarter than you, because it's not, it's just not 100% fact. And when you do that and you take these, definite like feelings of inadequacy into a space where you can challenge them, it no longer has power because it's not definite anymore.
Right. Right. So number 4, because I know we just have a few minutes left, so we'll try to get through these quickly. But number 4 action item is stop saying to yourself, yeah, but. Okay. For example, if I said, yeah, I know I accomplished that major project, or I got that listing, or I recruited 20 people this year, but no, quit saying that. Quit negating what you've done in the past that points to how you can be successful now. I want you to change the story to, I did it before and I can do it again.
Yes.
Right. I think I posted this on my social media the other day, and it was like, I can, I will, I did.
Yep.
I can, I will, and I did. So continuously challenge yourself. Stop negating what you've done in the past. You are successful.
Yeah.
You will be successful. You can be successful. You were successful. And just keep repeating that to yourself. I can, I will, I did. So
great mantra.
Next one, Cari, number 5.
Yeah, number 5. Find out what's actually true about you. So this actually goes into what we've been talking about, and finding the truth and questioning your feelings and thoughts and getting it into a conscious logic. But the reality is that, if you have these feelings of inadequacy or unworthiness, this imposter syndrome, it tells us that we'll not be successful at something, even though we know we have the experience that says otherwise. And so asking yourself questions. What is it about me specifically that made me successful in that previous experience, that got me to the place I am today? How can I apply that quality or those qualities about myself to the present opportunity? What makes it probable that I can succeed in this? And when you realize that what's intrinsically true about you as a human being, not because you think it about yourself, but because you actually have experience that proves it. That's the difference. Remember, you can't trick your mind with like these feelings and thoughts of imposter syndrome by just saying, I think that I can do something. Your mind isn't going to resonate the same way as, I did this before. I did have that success. I do have that quality. Those are factual things that I can pull from. That's when you realize what's intrinsically true about you, and the imposter syndrome cannot live on. Remember, the imposter syndrome is telling you that these things aren't true. So when you take it out of that context and you bring power into what you can do, you take away the power of those thoughts. That's all it is. It's basically kind of a power struggle inside of your brain, if you want to think of it in any other way. Which one is going to win? You get to choose.
And I really love this particular action item, because I think it's really important to remember that you are the only you, and that there are so many people out there who it's like, yes, what Oprah says, what, I don't know who Jim Rohn says, what Tony Robbins says. Yes, it resonates with so many people, but sometimes there's got to be one person out there that needs to hear it specifically from you, the way that you have to say it. They want to hear your story. They need to hear it from you. And when we lean into our limiting beliefs, when we lean in to the imposter syndrome, and we don't show up as the best version of ourselves in that moment, then that person, then we're actually neglecting, sharing our experience or sharing what we need to say. We're not speaking it out into the world, and we're actually doing an injustice to the people who need to hear it from us. And I'm not sure, I think you might have shared that with me, Cari, when you and I first met a few years ago. And that really resonated with me because I thought, I had to get out of my head and get back into my heart. And I had to think about, what is my intention and what is my purpose and why did I get into this business? What really fulfills me and what fills my cup? And if I am not truly leaning in to what my heart is telling me, I'm doing an injustice because I'm listening to all the limiting beliefs.
That's right.
And so how am I actually showing up and serving at this higher capacity if I'm constantly in my head, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So the last tactic that we want to give you today is don't compare yourself to other people, because, this is a great quote, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
And I heard this from a previous leader of mine. It's always just stuck with me. But listen, let's just take this out of the professional realm and let's look at this from a personal perspective. Listen, I remember when I first became a mother. And Cari, I don't know if this was an experience that you had too, but I remember looking at both of my kids growing up and constantly comparing them to other children their age. Were my kids walking at the same rate as other children? Were they speaking at the same rate, eating the same things? What about me? Like, was my body going back to the way other moms' bodies were going? Was I losing the weight? Was I able to nurse okay? I mean, like, all these thoughts kept coming into my head because I was constantly comparing myself to what I was seeing on social media, right? And I had this belief that society wanted me to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And it actually took me out of the present moment, and I wasn't able to enjoy my experience with my children as much as I could have because I was leaning in to comparing myself to what everyone else was doing. And so as a team leader, as even a business owner and entrepreneur, I want you to constantly be thinking about how many times imposter syndrome came about for you because you were comparing yourself to what everyone else around you was doing, right? I want you to remind yourself that there are accomplishments, the other people's accomplishments have nothing to do with what you've accomplished. And that you need to connect with the unique gifts and perspectives that you bring and that ultimately make you successful and you happy. Right, Cari?
Yeah, I mean, the first reality is that we've got social media around us all the time, and that makes imposter syndrome, I think, more common for us. And so we have to be aware of that. If we're constantly comparing ourselves to other people's perceived greater experience, remember, perceived, what you see on the outside does not necessarily reflect what's happening on the inside. So now you're taking some information that you think is true that isn't even true, and you're comparing yourself against it, and you're robbing yourself of your own growth and joy. It's very, very detrimental. And so removing that or just being aware of that so you don't do it as often, I think will help you with imposter syndrome. But hopefully you guys will continue to move forward in your mindset around this, because it is one of the things that Haley and I and our coaching clients see as a number one thing that keeps people from acting, people from moving forward into their gift zone, their joy zone, and their opportunity to actually succeed. And we don't want that for you. You're not alone. Everybody has these thoughts, and you can train your brain, just like I have, to move past that. Not think about it. Focus on the things that you are doing, the positive effects that you are having from what you're doing, and let everything else go. And as long as you feel joy and you know you're doing the right thing and you're helping some people, that's exactly what you should be doing. And I find that if you just keep doing that, you guys, you're going to make a habit of it, and it's going to be a great habit to move forward in. Any final thoughts that you have, Haley, before we kick it off to our next guest?
Yeah, I think that if anybody has any questions about this, or listen, if you're working through this and you feel like having a conversation with us would be powerful or empowering to you, that's what Cari and I are here for. We're here to empower you, to help you to grow, and to remind you that you're one of a kind and that you got this. You have got this.
Yeah. And so you guys, hanging around people like Haley and I, who hang around each other and others on purpose, because we literally empower each other to move forward in the positive thinking instead of the negative. I mean, it changes everything for you. So find your tribe, be that person for someone else. Even when you have imposter syndrome, and one way to overcome it is be an encourager to somebody else who has it, because as you're telling somebody else, like, look, you're going to tell somebody else and you're going to actually believe it. And then you're going to go back and do it to yourself. That's how it works.
Yes.
But the more you actually encourage other people and see them get past it, it actually helps you to get over your own. There's lots of little techniques, but I think the one thing that always kind of overcomes everything is just getting yourself into action. Even though you have these thoughts, you have to move into action that's backed by faith versus listening to these thoughts that are creating fear in your mind.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, let's go ahead and introduce our next guest, Cari. So we have Shemeika Fox with Staying Top of Mind. And hopefully by the end of this class, you'll be able to have a plan of action to stay top of mind for your clients and your SOI, your database. So great job today, Cari. And we will see you guys back next Monday.
Awesome.
Hey, everybody. I am so excited to be here to talk to you about staying top of mind with your sphere of influence, with your friends and family, with your database, with your CRM, client relationship management system, however you use it, however you do it. I want to talk about staying top of mind to create momentum, repeat, and referral business within the business that you have already created. So if you want to start removing yourself or getting away from buying online leads, you have the most beautiful referral system already set up, or you're going to set it up when you are done with this program. So let's talk about it. Okay, what CRM do you use? Do you use KV Core, RealVolve, Boomtown? I honestly don't care what CRM you use. You could use 3 CRMs at once. The only CRM that I care that you use is a CRM and actually use it, because the only CRM that works is the CRM that you use. I personally use a combination of KV Core and RealVolve. I love the workflows that RealVolve offers, and I love waking up in the morning with my 10 contacts that I need to reach out to in KV Core already set up to go. So a combination of those 2 CRMs for me works really beautifully. We use RealVolve and the workflows in RealVolve to stay in contact and communicate with our clients, our sphere of influence, our friends and family throughout the year. So let's talk about that. How do we stay in contact, right? We always want to be giving value. We always want to be connecting with our people, but we don't just want to call them like randomly and just say, hey, thinking about you. I mean, we can. That's actually a good idea. You should do that. But it is easier, in my opinion, and for me, if I have a reason to be calling or contacting somebody. So over the holidays, this is a great time to reconnect with people, because you can text them and say, hey, just thinking about you, and I wanted to drop you a quick little text to see how you're doing and wish you happy holidays. Super simple script, right? You start the open communication, ask them a question, an open-ended question. How's your family doing? How was your year? You just want to reach out to people so that they can remember you, so that when they're ready to use a realtor or refer a realtor, you are the one that's top of mind. So that's a little bit more, let's say, loose. But the structured systems that we use is we have a workflow for our clients for their birthdays, for their anniversary, for their housing anniversary, and any really relevant life event that we think would be impactful for them to receive a small token of or gift from us, or a card in the mail. And we do usually 2 to 3 touches per event. So let's use a birthday, for example. We get a notification a week before that our client Bob Smith's birthday is coming up, and we will write a handwritten note and include a gift card in it. And we have partnered, and I'm going to talk more about this in a minute, but we have partnered with local businesses in the Santa Cruz area are willing to joint venture our idea of sending these gift cards out to our clients as a gift throughout the year for birthdays, anniversaries, etc. And we only pay when they are redeemed. Did you know that only 20% of gift cards that are given are actually redeemed? So if you're spending $500, only $100 of those gift cards will be utilized, but you've already spent the $500. So go out and connect with local businesses. If you have friends that own businesses, see if they would be willing to do $10 or $15 or $20 gift cards with you so that you can promote their business, but also give a gift of value to your clients during those special life events. So, okay, birthday comes up. We get a message a week before, hey, Bob Smith's birthday is coming up. We send him a card with this gift card in it. On the day of his birthday, he will get an email that we utilize BombBomb for our emails. So it's actually me, my face, and I'm singing happy birthday with my terrible voice, singing happy birthday to him. So they feel special, they feel cared for. And then I will also send a text message. So that's 3 touches on one event over the course of a 1 week period. Now, let's say that Bob Smith's best friend across the street comes to him and he says, hey, Bob, I'm thinking about putting my house on the market. Do you know anybody that I should call to interview for the listing? Who do you think Bob Smith is going to think of? You've just touched him 3 times for one event. He's going to think of you. And in fact, the gift card that you sent, the back side of it has all of your information, so he can go inside, take a picture of it, and send it to his buddy across the street. We've been utilizing these systems for really intentionally now about 3.5 years, and every year my business has doubled from the year before, doubled, and this closing out 2022 has been my best year yet. And we intend to continue with full steam and momentum so that we can do even better, even in a shifting market. Because even in a shifting market, we all know that people have to still sell and people still have to buy. Okay, so that's one example of staying top of mind through using your CRM and life events. I want to talk about systemizing your social media postings, right? Like, the other way that you are going to stay top of mind is by being seen regularly as the expert, but also just being in front of your audience, being in front of the people that know you already, so know you, like you, and trust you, and then express your expertise. So we are on almost every single social media platform, and I would highly recommend that you're on at least 5 if you're not already. And you want to show your authentic personality because you want to attract like-minded people into your business. And then you also want to show that you are the expert in the real estate industry. So on a monthly basis, we will create a market update, both national and local market update. And we will post that on all the platforms, and we will utilize the search engine optimization to bring in the posting from YouTube onto our website. So that way, if somebody is searching Santa Cruz real estate market, we're going to have high search engine optimization, and we're going to come up high in the list. Because I think that if you don't show up on the first page in a Google search, you're not going to show up. They're not going to keep looking. So we do a monthly market update, and we do both national and local. We talk about the overall economy, and there are a tremendous amount of resources out there. You don't have to make this up from ground zero. Utilize other people's expertise so that you can reference that in your market updates. So go online, look at any platform. Riz Media always has great articles. Realtor.com always has great articles. Utilize the media that you read and that you use to research our market, local and national, and then pull from that, and then write your own scripts. Don't plagiarize, obviously, but write your own scripts, and then produce the content. Make a video so that people can see your face. Get out there, get out of your comfort zone. I know most people don't like videos, but who cares? Like, this is what people see when you open the door. This is what people see when you drive up. So get out there, get out of your comfort zone, create a video so that, again, you can be seen as the expert. So now they know you, like you, trust you, and they believe in you. They believe that you're the expert, and you continuously, you are continuously seen in front of their face. Okay, so that's just one idea. Doing a market update. We do have a weekly schedule for our social media postings. On Monday, we do, hold on, I'm going to tell you. Let me get my actual thing. On Monday, we do a community highlight. And with this community highlight, we will either highlight a local business. Again, this is a great opportunity for you to call a local business that you want to collaborate with for the gift cards as well, and say, hey, I would love to highlight your business. Can we create a video? And then that's going to be you on video interviewing this local business. So for example, let's say that a new pizza shop just opens up down the street in the neighborhood that you really want to be farming and that you really want to be working in. Call the owner, call the manager, say, hey, can we highlight your new pizza shop? Either hire a videographer to come in and help video and edit for you, or if you do not yet have the budget to hire an outside resource, buy a tripod, bring your phone. That's all you really need. Set it up, get it ready to go, interview the business owner, and then get some B-roll behind the scene. Show what the pizzas are, show the crowded restaurant, show that people are loving it, show the proximity to whatever it is in that neighborhood that is going to be recognizable. By highlighting local businesses, you are not only, again, showing your expertise for the neighborhood, which is what real estate is, but you are also sharing things that you're passionate about, and you're also empowering new businesses. You're bringing people together within your community, and that in and of itself is going to bring more business to you, because people are going to call you again and be like, hey, Shemeika, what's the deal with that new restaurant down on Ocean Street? I heard that it was great. I see you have a video on it. What was your experience? And then you're going to open up lines of communication for other things such as real estate. So we do local highlights on Mondays. If there is no new restaurant, or there isn't a business that an owner is willing to highlight with you, the other thing that you can do is you can do like a highlight of something that's really cool in the area that you live. Like, we're really lucky. We live in Santa Cruz. We have the beach. We have the mountains. We have hiking trails. We have biking trails. We have UCSC. We have so many local attractions that if a business is not available for me to highlight one week, then we'll just do a local attraction. We have the boardwalk, or things that are going on. Like maybe this week there is a Christmas train that's coming through, which is actually true. And you want to highlight the history of this Christmas train and what it means, and showcase the happy people that are getting to do this really fun touristy attraction. And why people might want to move or come into the area that you're actually selling. So Monday is utilized for local community highlights. Tuesday, we do what's called putting the reel back in real estate. And we've actually strayed a little bit off of this, but I'm going to talk about it anyways. Putting the reel back in real estate is just a candid conversation. Like, maybe it's something that you and your family were discussing at the dinner table, like, when can your child start using social media, or when is it appropriate for a child to have a phone? Or my latest conversation is, I actually learned from listening to Tony Robbins, is that it is that we want to start asking our daughter what she failed at every day. I know it sounds counterintuitive because you're trying to empower people and uplift them, but we want to ask what she failed at, because everybody knows that if you do not fail, you're not learning, you're not growing, right? You can't always be successful in everything. So I want to bring that forward to my audience and start a candid conversation with them about how they engage with their children if they have children, and what they think about that question. How did you fail today, and what did that failure teach you, is the real question that I want to answer. So putting the reel back in real estate on Tuesdays is a fun little thing, and it can be anything. It can be real estate related or not, but it's just an opportunity for you to ask a poignant question and get engagement from your audience. Again, staying top of mind, being visible. Wednesdays, we do an educational video. So we will talk about how to get your offer accepted in an extremely competitive market, or how to prepare your home for sale if you want to fetch top dollar, or what is a probate sale and how do you buy one, or how can we add an ADU or accessory dwelling unit to our property. So anything that we have information on that we want to share our expertise and add value to our clients, we're going to make a video and we're going to promote that and push it on Wednesdays within our social media. On Thursdays are my favorite because I have so much fun with it. Thursdays are deal of the day. So I don't know if you guys do brokers tour in other areas, but in Santa Cruz on Thursdays, we do brokers tour. And so we will choose a property that we find has good value, but also usually something that's kind of fun and quirky, and that we can like highlight this really cool architecture, or that there's like an octopus that is painted on the wall in a bathroom, or some random staircase that leads to nowhere. Just something that's funny and engaging, but also we're sharing this property, showing our expertise, talking about the property, the architecture, etc., with our audience. We don't always only utilize our own listings. You can use other people's listings, which is great, especially if you're a newer agent and you don't have your own listings yet. Just start doing this. Every agent wants you to help promote their listing, right? Like if they're not selling their listing, then they're not getting paid either. So if you don't have your own listing to promote as deal of the day for a week, go out and look and ask the agent at the property that you think is engaging and interesting and would make for good content if you can promote their listing. You don't have to go into an elaboration of what you're doing with it. Just say, can I promote your listing on my social media website? And then you'll always want to make sure that you tag them, or at least mention that they are the listing agent. On Fridays, we do a combination of local attractions and events. So if we're having like the Ironman race come through over the weekend, then we'll talk about that. If we are having a surf competition, we'll talk about that. If there's going to be a concert at the beach, we'll talk about that. The other thing that we do, if we've already done a highlight like that on Monday, then on Friday, then we'll switch it over and we'll just do an open house opportunity. Like, check out these really cool open houses. They're going to be open Saturday and Sunday from this time to this time. For a full list of open houses, click here and it'll take you to a landing page on our website. So be thoughtful and methodical in what you're producing as far as content. But remember, again, we're trying to stay top of mind. So through social media and presenting your expertise and staying in front of your clients and your database, that will help you get repeat and referral business. The other thing that we do that I'm very passionate about is biannually, we will host 2 parties. They are client appreciation parties, and but they're also give back parties. So we will have a local nonprofit that benefits from the party that we're throwing, and it will also be a fundraiser. I have found over the years that I've been doing this that people want to give back, but they don't always know how. Even if it's $10 or $5, whatever they can afford, they want to be a part of something bigger. It makes them feel good. So in the summertime, we host an event at our local winery. Again, another way that we can promote a local business. And we had a local musician come in, a local food truck come in. We bought a bunch of wine, but then people could buy more wine if they wanted. And then we had a goal that we set, a monetary goal of $5,000 to raise for our local Second Harvest Food Bank. And I think we ended up getting $5,040 by the time that all was said and done. And it was a really fun event. We had a bunch of local businesses that donated to our auction. And so we had an auction, again, promoting more local businesses. And we were able to give back to our community in a way that felt very valuable and rewarding. In the winter, for our holiday party, we do a big holiday party, and we rented out, again, a local restaurant that I'm friends with the owners. And this time we participated with the nonprofit called Adopt a Family. I'm sure that if you don't have something that's identical to either of these nonprofits, your community will have some sort of nonprofit that you feel passionate about giving back to. So we participated with the Adopt a Family, and we ended up adopting 5 families. And again, I believe we were able to get about $5,000. It wasn't dollars, it was gifts donated, but about $5,000 worth of gifts donated to these 5 families who otherwise might not have anything to celebrate with their family for Christmas. And not saying that stuff is all good and grand, but to be able to give a family who otherwise might be struggling just for the day-to-day presents to put under their tree for the children to open. And a lot of the gifts were things that are like so basic, right? Like jackets and blankets and things that we just might take for granted otherwise. So it was really rewarding and a very humbling experience. And everybody wanted to participate. At both of those events, I invited all my database. So I sent them an invite, texted those who were coming, texted those who couldn't come, called to explain how it worked. And it was another opportunity for me to add value and also open up to our community and also communicate with my clients, but have something poignant and valuable to share with them or to discuss, so that I'm not just saying, hey, how's it going? And then where do you go from there? So that was great. And yes, as a result of both of those events, I had clients come up to me and say, hey, I'm actually thinking about buying or selling. And since then, I've been working with a couple clients that may otherwise not have even thought about it. And we're in the middle of a negotiation with to purchase a new property for one of my clients. She may have called me anyways, but it gave her the opportunity to come and talk with me because I gave a platform for us to gather and see each other. Okay, so we have talked about using our database, our CRM, to create workflows and stay in contact with our clients through their life events, celebrate with them. We have talked about partnering with local businesses to create video promotions for them, but also to partner with them so that you can create gift cards that you use as gifts for your clients. And we have talked about a schedule for posting on social media so that you continue to be top of mind, but also the expert and share your expertise. And then we have talked about client appreciation parties and giving back to our community through these client appreciation parties. Next thing I want to talk about is the weekly newsletter. The weekly newsletter is very valuable because you could have thousands of people on this weekly newsletter that might otherwise not be hearing from you. And if they get it every week, week after week, on the same day with interesting content, even if they only open it to delete it, they have just thought of you for 15 seconds. But in our weekly newsletter, we will include our expertise. So a video that we've created already that shows either, again, the monthly market update. What is a probate sale? How do you get your home ready to sell? How do you win in a competitive multiple offer situation? All of that, plus like we will utilize our blog from our website and we'll have most of the article there, but then one little click off if you wanted to read the rest of the article. Otherwise, we really try to keep everything in the newsletter so that you don't have to toggle back and forth or you don't have to send your client somewhere else. We will always promote our listings. We will promote luxury listings or luxury homes so that people can see what is available and, you know, maybe they're in the market and maybe they're just dreaming. And then we will also promote what's going on in our local Santa Cruz community. So you can see now that there are a lot of steps to stay top of mind, but each of the things that we actually do is cross-pollination. So we're utilizing the monthly market update in multiple facets. We're putting it on our social media, we're putting it on in our newsletter, and same with any of the videos that we produce. We are putting it everywhere. So it's not like you have to create one video for social media, one video for your newsletter, and another video for, you know, sending texts or something out too. You can really utilize the one content creation for multiple avenues and to stay top of mind. Gosh, what else? Oh, pop buys. If you subscribe to any sort of coaching, I'm sure you've learned about this, but Brian Buffini is infamous for his pop buy idea and for creating a business based on referrals, which is what we're talking about. So a pop buy is something of value, a gift that you are bringing in person to your client's house. If they're not home, leave it on their doorstep and take a picture and send them the picture and say, hey, I was thinking of you. I was in your neighborhood. I dropped off a little gift for you. I hope you enjoy it. What we have done for Popeyes, and I actually love this because it allows us to be creative and also systematized based on what time of year it is. So let's talk about the holiday Popeye because we're coming to the end of the year. We're in the holidays right now. For our holiday Popeye, we will make vases of flower arrangements, and we will go and buy our flowers from, yes, a locally sourced business. And then, and she's a wholesaler and she's been around for years and years and years. But we go to her shop, we buy the flowers that we want, and we create these beautiful floral arrangements. And then we also stuff chocolates into little holiday bags, tie it up, and then a handwritten note. So our clients over the holidays, they're getting a bouquet of flowers, they are getting chocolate, and they are getting a handwritten note, and they are also getting either a face-to-face when we drop it off if they're home, or they're getting a text saying, hey, I was in your neighborhood, just want to thank you for all the business that you've sent me, or thank you for you entrusting me with your business. Here's a little gift as I was thinking about you. Happy holidays. People love gifts. We've also done, at the end of the summer, this was my favorite book of the summer. I hope you can enjoy it while you're, during the back to school season. And then we included in the book, which my favorite book is The Go-Giver. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. It's a very fast read, and it will just give you a lot of inspiration and motivation. But included in the book was a branded bookmark. So hopefully they keep the bookmark around and use it while they read that book or another book, or it sits around on the coffee table and somebody sees it. Remember, we're making the effort to stay top of mind, but we also are branding ourselves so that we are recognized over the course of the years that we're in business. The other thing that we did was, again, partnered with a local coffee company, and he made these cute little mini bags of locally roasted coffee that were branded with his brand and branded with my brand, and we put those on people's doorsteps with a little handwritten note. So be creative. You don't have to spend a lot of money on this. I think for the books, we ended up spending like $100 on the actual books and maybe $20 to print the bookmarks. Our database is pretty big. We've been doing this for almost 20 years. So we don't do everybody every quarter, and we do pop buys once a quarter. We usually pick about 25 people, and we will do certain neighborhoods. Like if we have really hot leads in an area, we'll choose that area and we'll go and deliver our pop buys to that area. So now let's just do a really quick recap. We want to stay top of mind so that we can create momentum, referral, and repeat business. How do we stay top of mind? We show our expertise on our social media platforms. We send handwritten notes with gift cards for life events and follow up with a text message or a phone call. We throw client appreciation parties, also followed up with a phone call. Oh, the other thing with the client appreciation parties, after the party is over, we send handwritten thank you notes to everybody who attended and contributed. So that's a really good thing to remember, is that's another touch. The newsletter that goes out once a week, the video content that you create that shows your expertise in your field, and the client appreciation parties and the pop buys. So that's like 6 or 7 ways that you can consistently stay top of mind within your database, within your sphere of influence. You want to constantly be adding new people into your database, and then you just want to nurture and foster those relationships, and it will generate massive amounts of momentum within your business. I think I mentioned I started doing this about 4 years ago and have doubled my business year after year since I started doing it. I've been in this business for almost 20 years, and my only regret is that I did not do this the first year that I was in business, because I think I could be a lot further along than I am now. But again, we learn from our failures. So I'm going to chalk that up to a challenge, learn from my failure, and now I'm flying to the sky, and we're really loving connecting with our clients in our database. That's also very fulfilling for me. And that's one of the main reasons that I'm in this industry, is because I love people and I want the opportunity to connect. That's all I got for you today. Please feel free to reach out to me or follow me YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you can find me. Just Google search my name, Shemeika Fox, and I will come up. Again, use me as a resource. I am happy to help your business grow.
I am super excited for our next segment. Number one, I want to introduce you to Carlo Gobba. Now, Carlo started in 1996 at the young age of 20. He owned his first home by the time he was just 21. He hit the top 1% of all agents nationwide, and he has never looked back, baby. He is a certified mentor, an ICON agent with eXp Realty, and we are so thankful that he teaches, he trains within eXp world. He's giving back to our community of agents so passionately. So let's toss it over to Carlo. Take it away.
I couldn't have done better myself. Hey, it's hard to even believe that that's me. I'm telling you right now, I am a proud eXp certified mentor, ICON agent, and hopefully the 2023 ICON Instructor of the Year. You got any pull there, Alyssa? Anyway, I'm beyond excited to be here, and I'll tell you why, guys. I mean, there's people on this show, and I don't see myself like that. So hopefully I bring the fire today and give you guys value, because I look at my time as completely irreplaceable. Obviously, that's a fact. It's irreplaceable. So I hope I bring enough fire for you guys to really understand what's out there in this business and what you can expect and how you could do more business in less time and level up yourself. Okay. So I'm beyond excited to be on this program, because people such as somebody that I looked up to even 25 years ago, Jay Kinder, has been on this program. And he is somebody that I paid thousands of dollars to learn from back before we were with eXp Realty. So now, using this concept, us ICON agents are able to turn around and give back to the community. So one of the reasons why I came to eXp Realty, it was a little bit selfish, right? I thought, well, I can get my cat back, and why not? So all I do is I'm selling some houses at a high level, and then they give me my cat back in stock. I say that's a little bit selfish. It's not, but it is, right? But the best part to me is that I could be on a program like this that Jay Kinder has been on, Ricky Carruth has been on, Kurt Shewell. He brings fire every time I'm around him, man. I learned so much, and I've been in the business 25 years now. So people, the likes of Randy Gammo, of Jimmy Nelson, Jimmy Fantastic, as we call him. And I'm actually standing in Jason Rivers' office here in Madison Heights, Michigan. So there's people all around eXp that are carrying, giving, that are ICON agents. And I'm proud to be that for you today. So before we begin, I'd actually like to touch on the year before I got into real estate. And I always heard, or I heard consistently, that you had to be a fast thinker in order to be successful in business. I wasn't sure I wanted to be in real estate yet, but I was working the produce department at a local grocery store. And I was in the produce department, and I had a customer walk up to me, and he says, you know, hey, how much for a half a head of lettuce? And me, I wasn't sure how to answer, but I said, 1 moment, sir. And I turned around and walked around the corner where I knew the manager was. And I said, hey, some idiot wants to buy a half of a head of lettuce, not knowing the guy followed me. So I turned around and I said, oh, and this fine gentleman would like to buy the second half. So I hope that it's not a true story, but I hope that made you laugh. That's a little bit about me. I love to look at things from the humoristic angle. And that was the year before I was in real estate. I did stock produce. So I'm so thankful that at 20 years old, I was able to get into this business, make 6 figures, and never look back. So I'm happy to be on this show today. A little bit more about me is that there is no S on my name, if you'll notice. And I don't know what my mother knew, but she gave me the Italian version of my name. And so my favorite food is Italian, believe it or not. And I love things to do, sporting events. I love traveling. I love being anywhere out on the water with my fiance. I call her Gwen. Her name's Stephanie. Gwen Stefani. Again, humor. But again, I'm half Mexican, half German. My mother gave me the Italian version of the name. And sometimes when I'm doing things like this or in conversation with people, inevitably, eventually somebody asks, hey, what's your nationality? And then I tell them I'm half German and I'm half Mexican. And guess what happens? They throw the S right back on my name, which I hate. I absolutely hate that name. So anyway, that's just a little bit about me. For fun, I own a Polaris slingshot. I just bought one this past year, and that is so much fun. I love adrenaline. I love speed. I kind of terrorize the city with that. And I love things like that. I'm actually a skydiver. I never planned on becoming a skydiver. I planned on just doing one skydive. But if anybody watching this really would like to be a little bit open-minded, try it once. I believe everybody should skydive at least one time because you look at life so differently from that point forward. The first time I landed, I said, I'm doing that again because all of a sudden the impossible seemed possible to me, right? And so skydiving, I love with a passion. I have almost 200 skydives. A little bit about my family. I'm engaged to Stephanie. She's my high school sweetheart. That's a little bit of a joke as well. She was 2 years older than me and hardly even knew I existed in school, right? Who knows those underclassmen? But oh man, my heart whew, pattered for her. So anyway, years later after school, well, we ended up married to different people and divorced, and then we ended up together. So she's my high school sweetheart. Together, we have 4 children and 2 dogs, Joey, Rachel, Heather, Eliana, and then our 2 dogs, Petra and Eva. So that's a little bit more about me. And what I'd like to do today is get right into what they brought me in here for. So who would like to level up? I'm assuming you said yes. Okay. So the first thing I want to do, and I don't like to assume because you know that what that does to you and me, but the first thing I'd like to do is cover mindset. And there's a class that I teach in the world, the EXP world, to EXP agents that is called the 3 pillars that I use to hit ICON. And those 3 pillars are business plan, time blocking, and scripting. And today they wanted to bring me in to talk a little bit about the time blocking, okay? But it goes a little bit without speaking that you need a good mindset in order to advance yourself in business. If you want to grow, you need a good mindset. So let's assume that you've already got that, okay? But what I'm going to do with you next is I want to take you through some visualization. And you people watching, everyone, please humor me. Follow me, close your eyes, and I want you to visualize what you define as success. I can't define success for you, but you can define success. Is that making 50 grand a year or 500 grand a year? Or is it other things like having a nice home, traveling the world, fine dining? Maybe you're on the beach somewhere, not working at all. Or maybe you're working when you want to work with who you want to work with, whenever you want to work, right? And spending time on the beach whenever you want, right? So I don't know what success means to you. Keep your eyes closed, but I want you to visualize those things because that's part of mindset is visualization. I want you to picture what success is defined by you as, okay? So If you'd like, you can open up your eyes now. But what I'd like to talk about is you see the vision, you see where you want to go. I want to ask you, how did that feel? Was that a good feeling to you? I hope it was, because there shouldn't be any negative feelings there in the beautiful part of life, which is success, right? Maybe success to you. And to me, it's working less than full time. So somewhere between 30 and 40 hours a week. I don't think I'd ever quit this business. I love it so much. But I want to be one of those people that makes more than enough money that I can put some away for retirement and do some things for retirement, do some things for charity, do some things for other people, not be a slave to this business. So that's exactly what one of my strengths is to help people that come on to EXP, come on to my team, work more efficiently, do more business in less time with less effort using some of these systems. Make sense? So I want you to feel what and visualize what success looks like to you. And the first pillar in the 3 pillars that I teach is business planning. So if you want to connect with me, if you're with EXP Realty already, please connect with me on our workplace page. That page is Real Estate All Stars International. And the reason why I'm asking you to connect with me there is I share some of these assets that I'm talking about there. So they're free. Okay. Yes, a lot of work has gone into them, a lot of time. In some cases, I've spent thousands of dollars for some of the things that I've learned and that I'm sharing, but that's the benefit of being an icon. And that goes back to the beginning. There's a little bit of a selfish part of becoming icon because you get your stock, you get your cat back in stock. But then also, one of the things I love is giving back, things like this. So connect with me on Workplace. There's some assets there you'll be able to find and easily download. The first pillar in my plan, and you'll find it on my page there, is a fillable 14-page business plan. Now, if you're not with eXp Realty already, my question is, why not? Kidding. But anyway, hopefully we can help you level up, and find my page, if you're not with eXp already, on Facebook, the public side of it, okay? Our Workplace is the private side of Facebook. Facebook designed that for us. And the public side, Real Estate All Stars International, that's my public page, and that's where I share things with agents such as yourself, assets that you can download and use to help you grow your business. And by the way, I have some spots that have opened up recently on my team, and I'd love to have you come on board with us. No pressure, no extra money. But the first pillar was business planning, right? So I share a 14-page fillable PDF business plan in several places. And then also in those same places, the second pillar is when you were visualizing what success means to you, I wanted you to feel, okay, I wanted you to know what that felt like, because guess what? No success is instant and easy. It takes work, right? Can we all agree to that? It takes work. So what kind of hours do you need to put into a schedule in order to help all those people that are going to help you get to where you want to go, right? And define success. How are you going to take your family out to that fine dining? How are you going to take your family out on a vacation or on a cruise? How are you going to do things for your kids that you never had in your life before growing up? You're going to do that obviously with money. Money isn't the only thing that defines success, but we all need to do more business in less time with less effort and be less of a slave to the business, if you're following me so far. So that was pillar number 2, the time blocking, and I'm going to come back on that because that's exactly what we're expanding on today, is the time blocking. But the third piece is scripting. You guys need to know your scripts. I was a 20-year-old kid when I started in this business, and I had nothing but energy. I have less energy today. I had nothing but energy back then. And people would say, Carlo's just lucky. Carlo's just lucky. And no, I mean, yes, I agree. No, I don't. Okay. Luck, I believe, is where preparedness meets opportunity. And that is a quote said by somebody I couldn't even tell you. I think it's the Roman philosopher Seneca. I could be wrong, but that's a favorite quote of mine because people would call me lucky. But if you know where you want to go, if you plan the time commitments that it's going to take to get you there, and you know the scripts that you're going to use to get there, you will get there. You may need some accountability in addition to that. And that's kind of where I come in as well. If you were to come on to EXP, I'm kind of personally helping coach, consult, and train some agents to help grow their business, help get them to ICON so that if, they want their cat back in stock, they can get it. And if they want, they can turn around and share some of what they've learned with the people they know, right? So that's how we keep things rolling forward here at EXP. I absolutely love it. It blows my mind. Those are the three pillars. And so getting back to time blocking, this past year, I did 61 transactions alone with no assistant, nothing, no help, no advertising, no nothing. Okay. And people have asked me, how did you do so many transactions? And I'll tell you right now, I would have pulled my hair out. I don't have much left and it's going gray already, right? I blame that on Gwen, Stephanie, my fiance, and the kids and the dogs too. But I would have been pulling my hair out if I didn't have structure. So what we're sharing here with you today is structure, okay? Business plan, time blocking, scripts, time blocking. Back to time blocking, 61 transactions. How can I do that myself? You know what? There's some things and some tricks that I had to put in place. For example, if somebody would call me up and say, you know what, we'd like to list our home with you and we're available, an evening this coming week. I would immediately say, I know that there's 2 evenings per week that I make available for the public so that I can list homes in the evening if somebody needs me in the evening. And that is Tuesday and Thursday, either at 7 o'clock or 8 p.m. So I can give them an alternate choice close if I ask them, hey, are you available Tuesday at 7 or would Thursday at 8 be better? It gives them some options, right? But another thing that I do that's a free service is I've used the product Calendly. Okay, and I hope maybe at some point, maybe they can flash that across the screen. But that's a system that's free, and I'm very, very big on free tools and low-cost tools, and I'll share a few more with you as well. But how did I do 61 transactions by myself? There are things that I had in my brain as to what my schedule was. I know if somebody wants to meet on the weekend, I actually made a commitment to myself and my business and my family last year not to work any Sundays. Okay. I actually worked one Sunday this year and it was 100% because I wanted to. And that's the position that I would like to help you become. I would like to help put you in that position as well, where you're making 6 figures plus and not being a slave to the business. But a lot of that is going to be in time blocking. I believe in time blocking because we run into so many distractions. I mean, I work from home a lot, right? So, inevitably the dogs are barking at the UPS guy or another dog walking by, and they've been pretty good. They actually work very well with me at home. But the thing is we have to limit as many of the distractions as we can in this business so that we can be productive, so that it doesn't take us 4 hours to do 1 hour worth of work, right? Because we stop and go and stop and go. So 61 transactions. I know in my schedule, if somebody needs me on a weekend, I'm going to try to schedule them between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Saturday. Okay. That's what I try to do. And I try to take Sundays off. If they need me on an evening, are you available Tuesday or Thursday? Would 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock be better? Right. So I try to meet as many people as I can for listing appointments during the day as well, which has really helped streamline my business. And my daytime appointment is generally right around 4 or 4:30. See, my fiance gets home for work between 5:30 and 6:30. So I like to have dinner with her. I like to just relax and unwind with her. Sometimes I'll return calls later in the evening if I have to, but I'll shut my phone off many of the times and just spend quality time with her. That's one of my love languages, and it's one of hers as well. So that's something that I've implemented into my schedule, into my time blocking, is I start out my day filling my brain with positive things, because there is so much negativity in this business if you really think about it, right? We're constantly, if you're calling people, we're constantly hearing no or no thank you, I'm not interested, right? So some of the things that I want to share today with you as well will hopefully help you get past that and around that. But 61 transactions, I definitely needed structure. I definitely needed a schedule. And between 7:30 and 8:30 every morning, my phone is on do not disturb. You can't get a hold of me. I am listening to the team call It's objection handling and so on that we do every morning between 7:30 and really it's about 8:15 to 8:30. But that's the positive filling into my mind. And sometimes if I happen to get up early, I might watch a YouTube video at 6:30 in the morning or something. I try not to watch those things at night because then it gets my mind going and I can't sleep. So I'd rather do those things that give me more energy in the morning, and that is like the positive things that are on those breakfast club calls is what we call them. So every morning 7:30 a.m. No fail, I'm there. I might have missed 2 or 3 calls this entire year, and that's how I start my morning, is being positive. But then also with those being objection handling calls and so on, there's some things that I pick up here and there. And then the very next thing I do is I'll try to take a quick shower. And I've got a funny story about that that I'll come back to in a minute. But I'll try to take a quick shower and be on the phones between 8:30 and 9. And I for sure try to make sure that nobody can bother me, nobody can interrupt me. There is nothing that's so important that I have to be dragged away for before 10 o'clock in the morning. So the next thing I do is I try to do some outbound community outreach. I call it community outreach. Sure, some people would call it cold calling, but you know what? I call it community outreach because that's a little bit of a mind play. Okay. It sounds more positive to me. It sounds like I'm giving and doing something that's caring. I had to do that for myself. I'm not cold calling people. And the main people that I call, the main 2 segments, is for sale by owners and expireds. Okay. So obviously, there's a lot of objections that need to be handled in that. But the next at least 1 hour of my day, I try to make some good phone calls and try to get at least one face to face per day out of that activity. Now, if I've done well, if I don't have much going on that day, I might stretch it to a second hour. And ideally, I'd like to call for at least 3 hours a day. But my main point is, for me, my goals are to get one face to face a day, 6 per week, 24 per month, and inevitably that activity alone will help stimulate a few listings a month. Okay. So those are some of the things I do in my schedule. I try to get those things out early when I have the most energy, because you know what? Things start to catch fire or whatnot around noon, 1, 2, 3 o'clock, right? People need you here or there. The dogs are barking, everything else is happening. So try to get those things out in the morning. That's just my suggestion. But one of the things that I'd like to share with you guys is my ideal schedule. I'll share with you my exact schedule on a manipulatable Excel spreadsheet so that you don't have to recreate the wheel. Okay, I'm going to offer at the end of this a free 15-minute discovery call. If you're thinking about EXP and you're open-minded, I'm not looking to chase anybody, but you know what? If you're open-minded and you would like some free coaching and consulting and some tools, I'm happy to offer those. But the schedule is a big deal because I take every bit of time, whether it's a half hour, hour, or 2 hours, and I put all my energy into it. I try to block out distractions, maybe even put my phone on do not disturb, right? And I try to do those things in the morning when I have the most energy. So I know I'm kind of going a little bit long today, but I want to tell you a little bit of a funny story. Remember when I told you that people said that I was lucky when I was younger? And some of that I agree with. Luck is where preparedness meets opportunity, right? But I knew my scripts. I was pretty darn good at knocking on people's doors, calling for sale by owners, and I did a lot of business that way. But for some reason, and I cannot tell you why, um, well, I didn't have to do that as much my 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th year, whatever, right? But recently, when I really wanted to put the pedal to the metal and hit Icon, I knew I needed to get back on the phones. So I want you guys to know, people even at my level, you're looking at this video, you're watching this video saying, wow, this guy does a lot of business, but people like me even have problems. And I'm going to show you. Okay. I went to get back on the phones recently and I got a dialer and I picked up the phone and I started calling and I sounded like I had marbles in my mouth. And I told myself, it's a joke. I told myself, you know what? We can get through this. You've done this before. You're good at what you do. You can do it, right? And I thought that would work. It didn't. It didn't. I mean, I tried everything that I could think of. I tried working out and trying to get my mind off things or trying to think about what I was going to say. And I'm pretty good at scripts, but for some reason, over the years, I believe I came with some sort of a mental block where I had a bad feeling about people that call for business, salespeople. people that are pressuring you and calling you out of the blue and taking your valuable time out of your day to sell you something that you never even reached out to them for. And that's what I was looking at cold calling as. So I had to even look at it differently at that point. Okay. I had to say, these people aren't cold calls. This is community outreach, and they're not cold calls. Yes, they don't know me. So by pure definition, that may be cold. But the fact that they've raised their hand and said, hey, I'm interested in selling my home, and then selling it themselves, obviously they don't feel they need you if it's a for sale by owner. Or if they've raised their hand and they said, I tried to sell, but this agent let me down. I had to switch my mindset and visualize myself calling them saying, hey, I'm offering help, basically. Okay. So we're going a little bit long in the series here. And what I'd like to do is just share a couple of scripts with you guys. I know that what's generally taught is more traditional, and that is, hello, my name is so-and-so, and I'm with X company, and I'm calling for X reason. Click. That's what's going to happen most of the time. And I know that there's laws that we have to abide by, but one of the greatest expired scripts that I use in my time blocking schedule has been this. And I'll call and I'll say, good morning. I'm not sure if I even have the right person or not. My research shows this phone number tied to 123 XYZ Street. Did I find the right person? And guess what? Sometimes that person will say no. But you need to keep digging, because 9 out of 10 of the average agents would go away there. I'm going to say, you know what? I really appreciate that. Do you happen to know who owns 123 XYZ Street? And guess what's happened? Several times I've heard, well, that's my cousin, or that's my fiance. And they might recordings here for you to help you and listen to some of the scripts that I use, but they're a little bit more unconventional. And I'm sharing one here with you because I would love to connect with you and help you grow your business. Okay. And one of the ways we're going to do it is time blocking. So in the time blocking, there are 4 parts that you need to really concentrate on. And the first part that I recommend is vacations and personal time. Okay. Start with that, because you want things to be good. You want it to be your ideal schedule. That's what we're going to help you build. Number 2 is you need a day off every week. I don't care what anybody says. You need 1 day off every week. I happened to just shift it last year to Sundays. I never thought I could do it. Guess what? That was a mindset. I thought, well, open houses are on Sundays. That one Sunday at work this year was an open house. But after I did it, I said, you know what? I'm going to try it on Saturdays. And I got just as many people. So now I do my open houses on Saturdays, right? Mindset, visualization, time blocking. All right, guys, are you following me? So we've gone through the first 2 parts of how to set up your ideal schedule. The third one is fill in your what you're going to fill your mind with. Okay, in the mornings for me, it's 7:30 a.m. It's our objection handling breakfast club call. It's positivity, it's objection handling, and I feel like I'm ready to go on my day to pick up the phone and start calling people, doing community outreach and helping people. Okay, helping, not selling. Selling bad, helping good, right? So if I can help change your mindset, then I'd love to do that. And that's sort of what I've done for myself. Now, the funny story was I felt like I had marbles in my mouth. I had to actually, and I heard this by somebody and I didn't believe it, but I tried it and it works. I had to actually try to take cold showers, ice cold showers. And I hope you're shivering just thinking about it, because I was. And it took me about a week or 2 to even get the gumption up to try it. I tried it, and the whole point was to try to make it 1 to 3 minutes in an ice cold shower. And I'll tell you what, I made it about 12 seconds my first time. 12. I skipped the next day because I said, this is just insane. I think it was the 3rd day. I said, I'm going to try it again. I said, F this, F this, F this. I don't know what F you're using. I said, forget this. That's the F I used. Okay. But there was some choice words in there. So the second time I tried, I made it about 14 seconds. The third time I tried it, I made it about 20 seconds. This is insane. But guess what I found out? I found out that my mind was beating me, and I had to change my mindset. And I had to tell my mind, I'm the boss of you. You're not the boss of me. I'm going to win the day. I'm positive. I'm going to win. Nobody's going to throw me off track. And when I did that, the next thing I know, the very next time I took a shower, I made it 3 minutes. And then the next day I made it about 5 minutes. And then I started taking ice cold showers because I would feel so positive getting out of that shower that nobody was going to beat me because I've talked to myself in the shower. I've given myself a positive mental attitude, and I actually did something that most people won't even try. So I challenge you to try it today, and let me know how it goes. Reach out. We're almost to the end, guys, but the fourth piece is actually running your business. So I run my business basically between 1 and 4 p.m. I'm obviously a self agent and I don't have an assistant. So that's when I do my lock boxes, paperwork, closings, things like that, is between 1 and 4 p.m. So that's kind of the structure of my schedule. And those are the 4 parts that I suggest. But filling your mind with positive information, I highly suggest that you check out Keeping Current Matters. And I can share a link with you guys, a discount link if you want to try it. You can try it for free. You might even get a $25 gift card, I think. But I'll share a link with you because you know what? That gives you mortgage information, real estate information nationwide, and it helps you be the professional that you need to be in order to stand out in this crowd of agents that are out there today. So, Alyssa, I think we're getting towards the end here, and there was maybe a few more things that I could have covered, but I hope I brought the fire today. I hope that people watch this and say, we need to connect with him. We need to be at EXP. Why aren't we? Right?
Absolutely. Okay, Carlo, I got a page of notes going on right here. I mean, it's going. It is. And one of the things that you said that was it was kind of an eye opener for me was I just wrote cold calling and then reframe community outreach, helping people, because that is something for me. When I think about cold calling, I'm like, oof, I can't do it. Community outreach, that's real. That's a big reframe for me. So
Yeah.
oof.
I've got a
Well,
recording. I don't know if I shared it with you guys, but I've got a recording. I think it was the first day that I tried to use that mindset. It's on my recording because I had to say it in order to hear it, in order to believe it. It wasn't just me telling myself that. I had to actually record my calls and hear myself say it in order to believe it. And I believe it today.
oh, that is powerful. Well, all right. I've got my page of notes out here. I believe our viewers probably do too. But Carlo, give them a recap. Give them a recap of what they need to know.
Okay, well, half-hour recap in how many seconds? I don't know. Listen, there are 3 pillars that I use to hit ICON. Plan your business, and I'll share with you a 14-page business plan if you connect with me. I'd like to help people get to ICON. There's no extra charge for that. That's the first pillar. The second pillar is time blocking. I'll share with you my schedule and how I used a schedule, the exact schedule I used to get to ICON. You don't have to do the exact one, but the point is I'm going to help you build your ideal schedule. That's the second pillar in my class. And the third pillar in my class is to know your darn scripts, know what you're talking about, so that when you get those at bats, you're going to be lucky too, because preparedness is going to meet opportunity. How's that?
That is amazing. I want to thank you so much for coming on to Level Up. This has been powerful. It's been wonderful. So I appreciate your time. And guys, we're going to close out here today. Let's get ready and see what else is coming up in Level Up.
Love it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.